Hello again. What you can see behind me is a standard looking traffic light, right? Minus the damage to the backboard, but we'll ignore that. What you probably don't realise is that this is one of Blackburn's many unusual amber arrows, and the reason for that is because of a loophole in the site-specific authorisations. So the question I've got is, how did Blackburn manage to get away with doing these amber arrows, and should we be using them everywhere else? Well, my answer is yes. Yes, we should.
The use of amber arrows outside of the United Kingdom is nothing unusual. It's this country where it wasn't invented here, so we're not going to use it became a thing. Whereas you'll find them across most of Europe, the United States, South America, Australia. In fact, anywhere that's not the United Kingdom seems to just have no issue with them at all. The earliest experimental set that I'm aware of was at Heald Green, not far from Manchester Airport, where the old A34 had a staggered junction. And I believe experiments had been taking place over in Lincolnshire as well. Which is probably how they found their way to Blackburn, because signal engineers in Blackburn had cut their teeth in Lincolnshire. Around 2012 there were 2 sites in Blackburn that were approved to use amber arrows, but due to a slight administrative error on the DFT's part, this authorisation didn't specify that they were the only 2 sites that could use the arrows. The wording of the authorisation made it sound as if the entire borough of Blackburn with Darwen had a blanket approval, and that was what was taken forward. So this is why they're everywhere in Blackburn, but very rarely seen elsewhere. Functionally, these junctions are no different to any standard set of signals, the only difference being that instead of a solid amber aspect, you're presented with an arrow which just reinforces the direction which is about to be released or stopped. In an area like Blackburn, where red light running is unfortunately prevalent, it's a really useful safety feature because it stops that "oh, well, I didn't understand" attitude that people display when they get caught jumping a traffic light. And it also prevents people who are a bit dozy in the wrong lane from setting off when they shouldn't. Of course, there is a problem that if not all sites have the amber arrows, then there's a bit of a discrepancy where some sites do need them and haven't got them, but that's like anything. Once you introduce something new, it takes time to roll out. I think one of the problems with getting amber arrows authorised prior to the mid-2000s was the fact that we were still using 300mm arrow aspects instead of the now standard 200mm. Therefore, if you wanted to retrofit such an aspect, you had to replace the entire signal head. Now you don't need to do that, so that argument has gone out the window. But I think it's just a stubbornness and a refusal to copy other countries which is holding us back. There are people who will even argue that we should have red arrows to really reinforce the situation. Such arrows are used in Ireland and France in particular, but they do get used in other parts of the world as well. But I think in this country we should probably stick to having a red ball just to reinforce that red is absolute. Because I think if you introduce an arrow, it'll encourage people to think, well, it's only saying I can't go left or right, and I'll still go ahead, or similar kind of nonsense which you can expect from the sort of entitled drivers who think they know better than everybody else. And it's for this reason that I don't support things like left on red. Red means stop. If you want to allow traffic to turn left when a signal's showing red, then you should introduce a flashing amber arrow, as is used in Ireland. The American system just seems to invite conflicts and doesn't feel very safe to me. There's a reason why it's banned in very populated states such as New York. Blackburn has also become an adopter of not using the white border on traffic signals. This is allowed as well. In fact, it's always been allowed in 30-mile-an-hour areas, but it was only ever London that really took it up. There are numerous sites now in Blackburn which I'm not going to list in this video. It's more fun to let you go to the town yourself and find them. They are pretty common though, and I think they're a good thing. What do you think? I'd be interested to see what you have to say in the comments actually. Why don't you join us there? Keep it civil, of course. No rudeness.
So there you have it. That's a brief history of why Blackburn uses a lot of amber arrows at traffic lights and why we should have more of them. As always, if you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe, or you can, if you want, join Patreon or Ko-fi as these lovely people on screen have done in the past. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.